What it is, everybody. Happy Monday. Start to a new week. Stock market's up 500 points or something today. Doshi's here. He's looking really good. My hair, not so good today, but Doshi's hair. Awesome, dude. Are you ready for a big show today? We're doing the news again. That's my crypto kitty, Doshi, my producer. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. Here, not quite 7 days a week, but as often as you need me, I try to appear. You can also follow me on places like Steemit, and I recommend Steemit. It's going to be coming back. I'm going to talk about a number of things today. I wonder if people are tuned in for the Anthrax news. Fake Anthrax attack, white powder attack, or prank. I called it a prank. It is kind of it's a little more than a prank because people had to go to the hospital and stuff. It went to apparently Vanessa Trump's apartment where she was with her mom, and Vanessa Trump and her mom both went to the hospital. I'm going to open with the report from Fox News, and that is going to give you the summary of exactly what happened. But then mostly the news is going to be over after that. I wonder if Vanessa Trump has her own apartment. It's kind of implied that in one of the articles. Did I tell you exactly what it was? You've already heard by now. White powder in an envelope was handed by the mom to Vanessa Trump, who looks a little bit like a sex robot, a little bit like Ivanka does. Kind of has that 1,000-mile stare when you see her in pictures. Should I show you a picture? Oh, I don't have one up anymore. She apparently opened it, and apparently there was white powder in it, and as a precautionary measure, they were taken to the hospital. Let me remind you, as I do in every show, and believe me, I'm not getting rich doing it. I just do it because I think it's fun, okay? I sell stuff like this Russian bot shirt, on my website, which is called truthclothing.io. Now, have really nice stuff, including the shirt I'm wearing right now, which is right there. And I put a link to the website in the description. If you go to my shop, I was getting a bunch of orders over the weekend because people remember the Doshi stickers and all of the other stickers, mugs, and t-shirts. So this new shirt is printed here in California. Very nice material. You'll like to wear it every day out to your favorite events. People love it when they see it in public. They get it. I'm going to play you the summary from Fox News of the Anthrax. The Anthrax prank, we'll call it. Play. Ooh. Got a slow load, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. And 3, 2. No. Nope. Might have to hit that refresh button. And a summary of the fake Anthrax prank. Here. 3, 2.
New York Police Department has now confirmed a letter containing an unidentified substance was sent to a Manhattan apartment building. That unit belongs to Donald Trump Jr.'s wife, Vanessa. Here's what we can report at this time. Vanessa Trump opened the letter. She was taken to the hospital as a precaution. This happened about 10 a.m. this morning, and so we are just getting the confirmation of that. Another network is reporting that the suspicious letter with an unknown substance that was sent to that Manhattan apartment to the daughter-in-law of Donald Trump, our president, a letter containing that unidentified substance. The hospital run was just as a precaution. As we learn more, the specific nature of what was in that letter and how Vanessa Trump is doing, we will bring it to you right away. Just getting on the record with this, and our newsroom, as you can imagine, is working the story. New York Police Department has now confirmed.
Autoplay got me again. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Like it's my effing job, I do. I am giving you the real news today. Let me clear that out. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. That's the update on Trump Jr. and Vanessa Trump. Vanessa Trump, I'm trying to remember if she's Jewish. She's Jewish, right? I believe Vanessa Trump is Jewish. A lot of people talking about Jews in the chat, by the way. Can't tell if that's a psyop to make me look bad or what. I'm going to go and show you guys my search. Vanessa. Oh, no. Here. Vanessa Trump Jewish. Let's see. Funny, she doesn't look Jewish. Vanessa Trump, her paternal grandparents, Nathan Hochberg and Jenny Weisberg, were Jewish immigrants. Her mother is Danish, so she's not 100% Jewish, but kind of Jewish. Ivanka is Jewish, now that she converted before she married 666 Kushner. Well, anyway, people were talking about the JQ. That's what people say. In one section of the alternative media. The JQ, the Jewish question, I think that's what it is. We're not talking about it much on this show. But we did just kind of talk about it. Well, we'll talk about Israel today, too. What else are we going to cover in the news? Let me tell you what the update is from Donald Trump Jr. himself, from the horse's Twitter, and that is right here. Says, thankful Vanessa and my children are safe and unharmed after this incredibly scary situation that occurred this morning. Truly disgusting that certain individuals choose to express their opposing views in such with such disturbing behavior. It is. It's not a funny prank, but people do pranks like this on people all the time that are just as bad, I think. Some people say it's not believable she'd be opening her own mail. Some people are saying it's a psyop. I've said things are psyops before. I think the Anthrax scare after 9/11 might have been some kind of a psyop, keeping people in fear, that we're under attack constantly, that sort of thing. So this one, who knows? The substance was not dangerous, apparently. Taken to the hospital on a precaution. So now you've gotten your Anthrax prank news out of the way and we can move on to everything else. Let me tell you what we'll be talking about today. Me Too and child sexual abuse. We're going to combine some of those topics. Going to talk about Weinstein. Play a clip from Tarantino, which you may or may not have heard. Part of a longer clip from him on Howard Stern, talking about Roman Polanski. I just watched a movie about Roman Polanski and the trial and read a long interview with his victim. Very, very interesting story if you guys haven't looked into it at all. More complicated than you think, especially as far as Polanski leaving the country. So maybe I'll get into that with you guys just so you can have a learning experience on today's show. Tarantino. Oh, then we're going to get into Oxfam. Big scandal involving them having... First, it's Caligula-like parties, they describe it as, with prostitutes, local prostitutes they were giving aid money to. And now they say underage girls involved in that. So we're going to talk about that, maybe a little defense of that in the mainstream media. Want to talk about the drone? Did I already say that? The drone attack or the drone getting shot down over Israel and conspiracies about that. And then Bitcoin in the stock market. So it's a full day. And assuming we have enough people tuned in, then we'll take phone calls too. So you get everything you could ever want out of Lift the Veil. Okay. What are we starting with? Something I didn't even mention. The Russian plane crash. There was a plane crash near Moscow, killing 71 people. Everyone aboard this airplane. We have some pictures of it. Not much to show as far as pictures go. People think these things are hoaxes, or in this case, what people thought because they looked up the, there are some 33s here, by the way. Took off at 11:22 UTC. That's a 33. 5 minutes later, we tracked it descending with 3,300 feet per minute. And that was posted at 4:44 a.m. my time. 4:44 a.m. 33:33. The first thing people did, Q believers, QAnons, looked up the name of they looked up the passenger manifest, found somebody's name on there. I don't have it in front of me. Who is a CFO, I believe, at Rosatom, the atomic energy company or oil company. I can't remember what. Yeah, no, it's the atomic energy company that was tied up in uranium one. So there was a conspiracy running around all day yesterday, I believe, saying that guy was killed and it was another part of the Clinton body count. As far as we can tell, it's not the same guy, many, many years younger, same name, but that happens from time to time, even if it's a weird Russian name. So no conspiracy yet on this one. I read about it. I look into stuff like this. A lot of plane crashes have been. I got famous covering fake plane crashes a little bit. There was 370. What was that? MH370, and then MS804, I believe. Fake. Okay. So I covered that. I'm going to get back to Israel and their attack on Syria a little bit later. First, I'm going to talk about Weinstein. We all know about Weinstein. I didn't know he had like 168 accusers, apparently. I'm looking down to see if I can see that in the article. He has a shitload of people who came out and said he abused them. Now, the New York Attorney General is filing a civil rights lawsuit against Weinstein Company, the Weinstein Company, TWC. And there was a deal to buy the company. And oddly enough, it's run by a former member of Obama, somehow somebody who was tied up in the Obama administration. Oh, they don't point that out in this article either. I guess they point that out more on Zero Hedge. This person, Maria Contreras Sweet, was the head of an investor group that was in talks to buy the company for $500 million. And now they're not talking about it anymore since the Attorney General has decided to go after him for civil rights abuses. And the reason they say that is because women were treated unfairly, that employees were directed to cover up for Harvey Weinstein and that was inappropriate, that women were flown around in order to facilitate Harvey Weinstein's sexual conquests and trained how to deal with the perverted Harvey Weinstein in a way that violated their civil rights, I guess. And now the point is now this lawsuit is basically saying any proceeds he gets from selling the company, they want to make sure he pays out all these victims first. And it's paying out accusers. None of these have been disputed even in a court of law as of yet. So we still should say that. It's all allegations, but people tend to believe them because there are so many and they are kind of believable the way they come out. I was going to say, and so that was the thing. The women who worked with him, and he had everybody sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, so that they couldn't talk about what happened in Harvey Weinstein's The Weinstein Company. So that's what's going on with Weinstein. And attached to that, getting into Polanski, Tarantino is very tight with Weinstein. Weinstein and Tarantino kind of blew up together with Pulp Fiction and some of the other movies they put together. They made a lot of movies together. Tarantino didn't defend Harvey Weinstein. In the end, he took a long time to say something. And then he said he should have said something about Harvey Weinstein's behavior. But is Harvey Weinstein going to be even harder to defend? And the Weinstein Company, when you hear from Tarantino, who a long time ago, and this I'm playing from Jamie Deluxe's channel, but he just had a long clip of Tarantino on the Howard Stern show some time ago. I don't have the exact date of it. Some time ago. Maybe I should try to find out for you. Tarantino. Howard Stern. Polanski. Let's see. And this is just kind of being talked about in the news. I'm a few days late on it. It was a 2003 interview. And the whole thing is very shocking. And to his credit, for people who didn't used to listen to Howard Stern, he's like the greatest radio guy of all time, by the way, and inspirational, really. For shows like this, I listen to him all the time. But not perfect or anything. But you'll see they were challenging him on everything he said. I'm going to play a very short clip. I'm going to play a very short clip from the Howard Stern show. Yeah, Howard Stern has 2 daughters, and he basically gives Tarantino a really hard time. But Tarantino, undeterred, goes on to say a lot of shocking things. So I'm going to play you from that in case you haven't heard it. Roman Polanski is a famous director. I just watched a movie about him. Very interesting. That was recommended. That's kind of endorsed by his victim. Maybe I should tell you her name too. Samantha Geimer. Samantha Geimer. He's now apologized to her since this audio clip has resurfaced. Anyway, Polanski was a guy born in France and then moved to Poland, and both of his parents, I believe, died in the Holocaust or in the war somehow or another. And then he became a very famous director. He was taking pictures of a 13-year-old girl, and he had before done this with Natasha. Who's the girl? Hey, who's the girl that he photographed that became famous before this one? They mentioned Natasha something? Kinski? Is that the name? Natasha Kinski is, I believe, the name. He photographed her when she was 15 in a very sexual layout. Maybe I can show you that. I'm giving you some history on this because I learned it. Very interesting. Yeah, Natasha Kinski. Let me see. Polanski. Yeah, here we go. She was, okay, let's see. Okay, here he is with her. And then he took pictures of her. I'll see if I can find those. Here's Polanski with her. Natasha Kinski. And she was very young. And he photographed her and then maybe put him in his movies. And she became very famous. So this girl that he ended up photographing, her name again. Oops. Well, anyway. That girl was 13 years old, aspiring actress, model. And so she was left at his house. Actually, not his house. Jack Nicholson's house. Jack Nicholson was traveling, and Polanski took the girl up to Jack Nicholson's house, took some photos, had her take off her top, take some photos of her in the jacuzzi. Let me give you pictures of her too so you can see. Hold on. I'm going to do... I'll show you some of the pictures he was taking. It's an interesting story. And then I'm going to play you Samantha Geimer. Now, let me see if pictures of her come up. Here. Let me see if they have images of her. Oh, yeah. Great. So these are the kind of images he was taking. Stuff like this. Okay. And that's her. That is one of the photographs he took, I believe, on the day that he raped her. Or he was convicted of having unlawful sex with a minor. But she said no. She said she didn't fight him, but she said no. She has a complicated view of the whole thing. Anyway, they had sex. He gave her drugs and alcohol. They had sex. She didn't want to. They went to trial, and they actually got a crazy judge. Both lawyers agree that the judge was completely mental. He actually went to prison for a while on some weird sentence where they were doing a psychological evaluation, supposedly, for like 42 days. And then he came back, and the judge was doing this crazy thing where he wanted to sentence him more and was trying to put on a show telling the lawyers, hey, you say this, and pretend you don't already know what I'm going to say. And then Polanski's lawyer was like, I don't know what this judge is going to do. And then Polanski skipped town. And his victim, Samantha Geimer, said, hey, he had no choice but to skip town. So I didn't know the whole story. I thought he was escaping justice or something. He pled guilty to sex with a minor, unlawful sex with a minor, even though he was charged with a lot of the worst things. And he served some time in prison, actually, and was only meant to serve another 48 days. The judge only wanted him to serve 90 days in prison, and he served about half of that. And then the judge started acting crazy, and Polanski fled the country and never came back. So that's the whole story. Then there are defenders in Hollywood, in particular, that just love Polanski for his work and are willing to forgive him. And some of them are saying it wasn't rape, basically. And some of them say that in a very provocative way. And that would be like this. Tarantino on Howard 13.
And an adult has sex with him. I believe that's rape.
Look, okay, I don't believe that's rape. I believe it's against the law.
Right.
All right?
I believe it's rape.
I don't believe it's rape. I mean, not at 13. Not for these 13-year-old party girls out there.
Oh, my God.
Really?
13-year-old party girls. What is that?
Hey, let me ask you. All right, so you did...
Couldn't you have found an 18-year-old party? You guys turn into Bill O'Reilly? Bill O'Reilly. But I wasn't looking, all right?
But wait a second. I have a daughter who is 11.
Uh-huh.
She is such a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then Howard gets into a defense of it. And Tarantino never, ever backs down. Actually, the whole thing is good. The whole thing is actually really good to play, but I wanted to play you just a snippet from it. You can catch it if you just put in Tarantino Polanski into your YouTube search. You'll find video with that audio. I played one from Jamie Deluxe, our friend Jamie Deluxe. So that's a story about Tarantino, which related to the Weinstein Company. Since we're on the subject of child sexual abuse, I believe the next story I have, is about Oxfam, which I believe is a mostly British charity. They get about $44 million from the British government, international charity organization. They found out recently that some of their workers, men, were engaged in big sex parties. I think I already talked to you guys about this, with underage girls. Now they're suggesting that it's underage girls. Crisis spreads as Haiti suggests aid workers exploited children for sex and using charity money in a way, because these are people who were getting aid money from Oxfam. And it happened in Haiti, and apparently it also happened at the Darfuri refugee crisis in Chad several years before the Haiti operations. Someone just resigned, the deputy chief executive, Penny Lawrence, who said, quote, "I am ashamed that this happened on my watch and I take full responsibility." Haiti's ambassador to Britain told Guardian that the victims may have been underage kids. And Oxfam's top leaders have been accused of trying to cover up the allegations for years. Theresa May says they want to stop such horrific behavior from happening. And Britain's International Development Secretary told BBC News that Oxfam could end up losing its government funding worth $44 million in the past fiscal year, which is only about 8% of its overall income. So I guess it's not necessarily a British government organization. I'm still learning about Oxfam too. Founded in 1942, now runs aid programs around the world. And it was a report published Thursday that started the crisis, published in a Times of London. Let me see if I can read you about the abuse here. So it was an internal investigation into Roland Van Houvermeiren, who was Oxfam's country director in Haiti after a massive quake in 2010. Van Houvermeiren and several male workers, a small fraction of the more than 200 Oxfam workers in Haiti, were accused of turning their guest house into what they allegedly referred to as, quote, the whorehouse. These girls wearing Oxfam t-shirts, running around half naked. It was like a full-on Caligula orgy, unquote, a source told the paper. The Times alleged that Oxfam, which had a $100 million fund to help quake survivors, subsequently tried to hide the scandal by limiting its investigation into von Houwermeiren. He was ultimately allowed to resign in 2011 rather than being fired, and 6 other workers left. Some of them went on to work at other charity organizations, apparently. And the same guy was accused of hiring sex workers in Chad as well in 2006 when they were doing charity work there. So how does the mainstream media respond to it? Well, I was just going to point out, I thought this was maybe telling. The Guardian wrote an editorial, The Guardian, a UK paper. Let's see. Oh, there's something about my screen. Let me fix that. Wrote an editorial basically defending Oxfam. The Guardian view on Oxfam, time to learn, not destroy. Now, they do point out how outrageous the conduct was and the cover-up for it. But they summarize and say, what this crisis must not be allowed to do is undermine the case for generous aid spending as both a moral obligation and as pragmatic policy. The Oxfam case involves fewer men than can be counted on 2 hands. The courageous and dedicated efforts of thousands of its employees have saved millions of lives in the most grueling and dangerous circumstances. So, anyway, they defend them. They say, hey, it's not that many men who are involved. Well, it's everybody involved in a lot of ways because everybody's involved in covering this stuff up. So it's more than just those men that were involved. It was the leadership as well. That's the problem. And these charity organizations, they're all scams. Red Cross, the Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative. All of these charities, it turns out, are money laundering operations for the most part, funneling money to friends of the organization, basically. And that's how charities work too. And foundations in particular, money laundering schemes. So that's your update on sex abuse. Let me give you the conspiracy theory proposed by Steve Outram on Twitter yesterday, that this Iranian UAV might have been a not Iranian. And he says because of these numbers over here, it says 90 something, like 906. He says they use different numbering in Farsi and he wouldn't have expected to see it on there. Regardless, supposedly it's a clone of an American drone, which, so anyway, why would they do that? They might fly an U.S. drone or a dummy drone into Israel to give Israel the clearance to go ahead and bomb Syria. That would be the reason that might be a U.S. drone. That would be the reason that Steve Outram was asking questions about it, looking at pictures closely. I even have video of the thing getting shot down. Supposedly it looks like this. It's a combat drone, stealth, I believe, which is called it's a clone of a U.S. RQ-170 Sentinel stealth aircraft. And the way they cloned that drone is they shot one down over Iran that was spying on them, and it came down mostly intact, and they reverse engineered it, and they called it something else. I can't remember what they called it. Probably something in Farsi. Anyway, that's it. That's the thing that was flying. I'll show you video of it. This is from the Times of Israel, by the way. They have video of the thing being shot down. It's like a bat wing drone. I should zoom. I don't know if it's much to look at. There. You can see it's kind of like a bat wing. Stealth. Here they're going to bomb it. Boom. Boom. I don't even know how there was so much debris that there was a picture of it. Really got lit up. There are lots of different angles. Oh, and this is the bomb. This is one of the bombs that struck the command and control center, supposedly. The command and control center for the drone. This was the thing that the F-16s came in and shot, and then the F-16 got shot down. But one other conspiracy theory, oh no, is it going to autoplay? Why autoplay everything? Why is everything autoplay? There's more parts of it. So they got to bomb Syria. Okay, so it was on the way back from that second bombing that they shot down the F-16. The F-16, well, first of all, the drone, they say crossed into Israeli airspace over the Golan Heights. The Golan Heights are illegally occupied by Israel and wouldn't really constitute Israeli airspace. All the same, the F-16, which apparently was shot down over Syria, landed in northern Israel. Everything happened over northern Israel. And I think there's video of it blowing up or something, or being shot down right there over northern Israel. So there are some questions to ask about this. It's instigating, it's trying to start a war between Israel and Iran, which both of them kind of want. Iran doesn't, I don't know if they seem that outwardly warlike the same way that Israel does. The Israel, Saudi Arabia alliance, USA, alliance against Iran and Syria and stuff, against the axis of resistance, we've learned to call them. Do I have any more on that? No, I don't. We're going to move on to more news. Bitcoin, because let me announce this. Please take a moment to subscribe to my other channel. It's in the description. This channel's messed up. I don't get subscribers right. There's something, they tagged it or something, so there's something wrong with it. I'm going to move back to another channel, Lift the Veil 2. So subscribe. The link's the first thing in the description. Subscribe to that. You might already be subscribed to it, but subscribe to that, and I'm going to go back there, I think, and start doing live shows. I'll make a video announcing it before I do it, but I'm giving you guys some advance warning because there's something wrong with this channel. That's all I can say. So, but you're here. People are saying they're getting unsubscribed and stuff, and then the numbers don't work right. The numbers aren't working right at all. So anyway, talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's doing pretty well right now. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin in relation to stocks. I'll give you a financial update. The stock market has been crashing. Zero Hedge and other alternative financial sites have been calling a crash for a long time. It's not confirmed that this is a crash yet. It could go either way. Nobody can predict the future. But all the same, a lot of things that people were predicting happened. This VIX explosion is a big part of this. Explosion of volatility is a big part of it, and it's going to, from a lot of people's perspective, make things continue to get worse rather than get better. All the same, stock market was up like 500 points today. CNBC is going to come out and say, buy the dip, we're coming back. I don't, like I said, I don't think that many of my listeners own stocks, but I think it seems to be that the consensus among a lot of different people, including big banks, Goldman Sachs, is that things are going to get uglier. And the beginning of the stock market, I've always thought the stock market crashing or getting beat up was going to be the beginning of the financial meltdown. So we might be right on the border of that. And then we have cryptocurrency, which may, I believe, go up while all this other stuff crashes. And silver and gold are also looking good, I think. Not investment advice. Bitcoin is being more accepted. Arizona just passed a law saying you can pay your taxes in cryptocurrencies. And they mentioned specifically Bitcoin and Litecoin. Arizona wants to be the cryptocurrency state in the United States, the most friendly. They already passed a bill where with gold and silver, so they're cool with alternative currencies. They already say you don't have to pay capital gains on gold and silver, treating them more like currency than an investment. So that's great for those. And now they're passing more laws to be friendly to people who want to invest in cryptocurrency. So that's happening. The meeting in front of the Senate was really positive. They really like cryptocurrencies. Everybody's saying that they're here to stay. So JP Morgan just released a 71-page document that Zero Hedge is calling the Bitcoin Bible, which explains, and JP Morgan, this is the same JP Morgan who Jamie Dimon is CEO of, who called Bitcoin a fraud and said that any JP Morgan trader caught trading cryptocurrencies would be fired for being stupid. They just published a Bitcoin Bible, is what they're calling it. Decrypting cryptocurrency technology applications and challenges. So it's a whole thing explaining to everybody how cryptocurrencies work, what they're going to be able to do, what blockchain's all about, etc. Basically accepting the future for cryptocurrencies is how it's being translated. And in the meantime, let's see. That's Chainlink. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin at its highs for the day, pretty much, seeking 9,000. So it's almost 50% up from its low around $6,000. So think about that, a 50% gain over a couple of days. Pretty crazy. It bottomed out at exactly 6,000. If it hits 9,000, that's 50% return. Anyway, it should only get better once it breaks through 9,000 from what we understand. Not financial advice. But if I had dollars, I think this stuff still looks really good. Litecoin looks good. I like Litecoin the best. Litecoin has some exciting stuff coming out. I'm going to tell you about stocks too. Litecoin has some exciting stuff coming out. Something called LitePay and then something called LitePal. LitePay lets you pay for things in Litecoin with a Visa card. Huge. Just launched. People really like Litecoin. It's going to go far, I think. Trading at $162. Unbelievable, the people who are buying it at $350, like me, but with Steam dollars, of course. Anyway, people say that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are manipulated, that it's a New World Order scam, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they neglect, or that it's used in crime. They neglect to point out that the US dollar is the biggest scam of all time. And everybody knows it. I mean, it's easy enough to see if you look into it. biggest scam of all time, and used in 99.9% of all illegal transactions, probably worldwide. US dollar, cash money, used for crime, pyramid scheme. People say investing in Bitcoin is a scam. They'll point out things like BitConnect, which was a scam that had people give their money and supposedly earn these very high returns in this coin called BCC, BitConnect. And eventually they found out it was a scam. They got shut down and everybody lost all their money. People point that stuff out. So I'm going to show you actually. This is a post from the BitConnect Reddit thread. This can't be it. I lost everything. $80,000 gone like nothing, he says. I'm so angry right now. My wife doesn't know yet. She will come home soon. What am I going to fucking tell her? How am I supposed to care for my family now? I literally have nothing. So that's what happened to somebody who put all their money in BitConnect. People say, oh, these Bitcoins are dangerous. These cryptocurrencies are dangerous. It's a bunch of scams. Well, look at this. And this thing that wasn't a scam, the product, I believe, was offered by Credit Suisse. Is that what they're called? A major international bank offered this product where you could bet against volatility. And people have been doing it for a long time now and making a bunch of money at it, even though it's incredibly risky. And they should have known when they read the prospectus for what they were signing up for, that their investment could go to zero. The same as everybody who invests in cryptocurrency has to know that their investment could go to zero. And this is totally legitimized trading. It's a totally legitimate financial product, even though it was, a lot of professionals thought it was too risky and probably going to blow up. Well, it did blow up when this latest downturn happened. And then here's on the Reddit thread for this inverse VIX fund, XIV. This guy says he lost $1.4 million and now he's bankrupt. And there are more stories like that. Those funds are liquidating now, and people lost a lot of money. That's already been a lot of money lost in the stock market. This news just came out about stock markets. In The Economist, a bunch of academic reports came out saying something everybody already knew, that insider trading has been rife on Wall Street. And this just analyzes how so much activity in the markets is clearly predetermined, and that the best customers, the biggest customers, are clearly given insider information, which they clearly act upon. And there is very little anybody can do about it. And they show a scene from Trading Places. The article says that the conspiracy theorists are right. Trying to remember where it says that about conspiracy theorists. Anyway, why invest in stocks? Why invest in cryptocurrencies? They're not much different. And I will close, even though I wasn't necessarily going to, and then I'll take phone calls. With this budget proposal, the White House does not care about fiscal responsibility, does not care about the Republicans' longstanding stance to balance the budget over time. Instead, the White House proposes a $4.4 trillion budget. This is on top of the tax cuts, which will cost $1.5 trillion to give corporations a tax break. He has a $4.4 trillion budget that adds $7 trillion to the deficit. Zero Hedge estimates that it'll add about $10 trillion to the deficit. Under Trump's budget, our debt will go from just over $20 trillion to over $30 trillion. We're about to get downgraded by Moody's because of our debt. And this is the reason the stock market is crashing too, because of Donald Trump's policies. because the stock market wants to go down when interest rates go up. Interest rates go up when economic activity overheats. The economy is already supposedly doing really well, full employment, low inflation, et cetera, et cetera. More deficit spending means more money into an overheated system. And then inflation goes up, then interest rates go up. And when interest rates go up, then stocks sell. And everybody is over leveraged in stocks and and some of these products that are implicitly short volatility. Apparently it's going to be a huge unwind. Stock market's going to crash. And that has to do with the tax plan, actually, and the budget that just went through with over $500 billion in new spending, and then the proposal from Trump. The only thing about the proposal from Trump is every president does one of these, I guess, every year, and it's always ignored. It's always ignored. So it's not going to be, they're not going to pay any attention to it, regardless. So we don't have to worry about it. But they're in the mood to spend. And to pay for, he has this crazy idea. This $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan he also wants to do with $200 billion. Somehow he wants to spend $200 billion and encourage over $1 trillion from municipalities and states to join in to build this infrastructure plan. And he can't raise the money for the $200 billion, even though it's ridiculous. He could have funded the whole thing, $1.5 trillion, by not giving the tax cut to corporations. Instead, they might put a gas tax on us. That's what they're talking about, is a gas tax. 25 cents extra a gallon. 25 cents extra a gallon. That's what they do. That's what all of it is. The deficit spending is a tax. It's a tax on you. The only way we pay for government operations and deficits and debt payments is from our taxes. So eventually it's from you and your work. It's stealing from you. You're a slave as soon as you get a social security number. Okay? You are born with a debt on your back, which you have to pay off over your lifetime. You're contracted. I'm trying to find out here. I'm going to open the phone. Thanks for tuning into my show. Doshi says thanks. I'll put up the invitation for Discord. There it is. Great. Discord is great. There's my phone number, 650-GAY-TAXI. Phone's open. Oh, you know what though? Oh, great. It's actually ready. Great. Bitcoin and Litecoin look good right now. And Steam dollars are coming back for everybody on Steam who's trying to make money. My vote's worth something, so be friends with me. My vote's worth 40 cents right now. And if Steam goes up, then vote power goes up too. My vote was worth like 62 cents a while ago. That's the way Steam it is. You have to, when crypto's good, Steam it's good. So we hope crypto comes back. Not financial advice. We still believe. I hope you enjoyed the news show. Patiently waiting. I'll check in the chat. Somebody says talk about the wall. He wants funding for the wall, but that's just a very small part of the package, like $3.8 billion or something like that. There we go. Great. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Whoa, didn't think I would get through. Hey, my name's Vinny. I'm from Colorado.
Hey, Vinny.
Been watching you for a while now. Like what you're doing. Just kind of feel like, as with anybody on YouTube, that sometimes the message just gets kind of muddied, and we just kind of do surface judgments, like you're like mainstream news. Not that you don't have more insight, obviously, into the sickness that is the world and what we live under, but sometimes I feel like we just take kind of like a cursory approach to viewing the news.
Do you? So, what do you suggest? Like, I need to do some deeper investigations and stuff, like I used to do on individual
Well, I don't
topics,
know.
or what?
Like when you started getting into the stuff with semen, it seemed like there was a lot of headway like being made there, and then it seems like everybody just backed off of that, and then this Q fella pops up, and everybody's just waiting for what some anonymous person is going to say, and I hold as much validity to that as I do to like Donald Marshall. I don't know if you know who that is, but some jackass saying he was like cloned and all this, unprovable bullshit, like saying he wrote all Madonna's albums and shit. And I feel like he has as much credibility as this Q person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at, Trump is a fucking Zionist, man.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon my language, but, that's clear as day to anybody with eyes to see that doesn't have this anti-Semitic, like, brainwashing that was instilled in us in school. I mean, all of history is just total garbage. So when we view it in the eyes of our educated minds, it's like, I just think we're doing a disservice, to the truth community. And not calling a spade, like, oh, don't talk about the JQ, or the Jewish question, because we might offend some people, or some people might be not up to speed.
Right.
But I think like we're kind of holding back. Like everybody doesn't already know, like, Polanski's a sick motherfucker, and so is Tarantino. That's pretty obvious. It should be to anybody that's subscribed to your channel that's on the live feed right now.
Right. Well, I try to touch on the news for some people who haven't seen that clip for Tarantino. I just wanted, some people do watch this show to catch up on the news. So I want to go over that some of the time, but
and rightly so.
But as far as the other stuff, it sounds like you're kind of interested in pointing out the hypocrisy or the
that's why I kind of started following you, because you were taking such like a unbiased kind of middle approach to the whole Q thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems like we're still talking about it, and it's like, like, where has it gotten anybody? It's like, oh, people are like learning all about, the cabal and the Masons and, and the Jews and how they're interconnected and, the Vatican and all that. But it's just like that information's been out there. It's,
Right. Well, I think what people like about that, and you're.
The misdirection from it, obviously. You've covered that. So.
Yeah. Well, the thing that people like about Q is that he opens up to a lot of new people, I guess, stuff they haven't been exposed to. And, my show, I tend to go a little bit deeper into stuff, looking, for example, whether Q's a psyop and stuff. But I kind of, the thing is, there are people in my audience who still really subscribe to this Q thing, and and people like Steve Outram who still sees a lot of stuff in it. And so I try to be open-minded about it. I used to attack people more. No, that's okay. I used to be a little more critical, and I would go after things more, like with David Seaman. But I've kind of become a little less controversial, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think you do that to appease, like, to get more followers that way? Because, like, we know We Are Change, like Luke Rutkowski or whatever the hell his name is, like, there's all kinds of stuff there with Mike Wallace, the guy who pretty much put We Are Change on the map. And then Luke Rudkowski, he covers current events really well like you do, but he leaves out Israel. He, like, broaches the subject but never gets into details. When, it's Hollywood's run by Israel. Like, everything we know about, like, social, awareness about, like, society, or, like, we've been indoctrinated by the same people, man. It's like, how, like, they threw the Italians out there, for Italian mafia, when the Israeli mafia is, like, the worst mafia ever in America. Meyer Lansky started the Anti-Defamation League. So when we just like kind of pussyfoot around these subjects, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like we're never going to get anywhere, because we're just going to keep covering, the divisive surface shit, like, there was some lady who pointed out, you know, how you're not covering, or most people aren't covering like foreign politics, you know, like the stuff going over in Iran and you know, 100,000 people with cholera in Yemen. You know, it's like the same foreign policies being carried out since Clinton, but yet we're acting like it's this whole new puppet, like it's a new show, and you know, cryptos are the way to go and make so much money while the world burns. You know, it's just, it's kind of, I don't know.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, there isn't enough that people can say about what's going on in Yemen and Syria, and yeah, I don't report on it. I haven't been reporting on it very often.
Well, I mean, not even that specifically, but I mean just foreign politics in general, like how it hasn't changed. Like the puppet changed, but it's the same. Shit's going the same way. You know, we're fighting these wars for Israel, for the greater Israel project, the Yanon plan. You know, and it's pretty obvious with people who have eyes to see that don't want to just, you know, go with the easier thought in their head. You know, like the less harmful to their sensibilities, or it's going to be, they're going to piss more people off knowing the truth. Because the truth is, you know, it's not comforting.
Well, I'm trying, you know, a little bit of it is that there are people like you who are kind of, you know, you've kind of gone down the rabbit hole and you're looking at the real root cause of stuff. There are other people who are still getting there too. So in some sense, it's a way of kind of easing people in too. But yeah, well, I mean, I try to cover Israel.
Do you not see similarities in like the red pill Trump people to like the Hopi changey Obama people?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
like,
it's very similar.
He could do anything, and they're like, oh, it's 5D chess.
Right,
you know,
I know. Well, and I've been, you know, I was pointed out. I was saying, you know, for a little bit, I was saying this Q is a total psyop.
The biggest thing to point out is that Zionism and Mason, you know, the Masonry is like, it's the same fucking club.
Right.
And whether you want to believe Trump's a Zionist or a Mason, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, he's from the same club, dude.
Right.
You know, and like the longer we pretend that he's not, I just feel like, you know, like the more bullshit we're gonna buy.
Right.
You know, like, oh, Trump, like Q said that one of these planes was going to be late, and then the plane was late, and he coded it with like a 3, and there was a 3 on the plane. Holy shit!
Believe me, I'm just as frustrated as you are about it. But you know, I pay attention to my listeners.
It reminds me of the cicada internet games where they've got a bunch of like coders like running around in circles doing games.
Yeah.
When people were actually making progress in the Pizzagate thing.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's even fucking doing investigations on Pizzagate, dude.
No.
You know, we're talking about Q, some non-existent person, you know, that very well could and probably is a fucking agent, you know? Like, what prevents people from thinking that they're just like soft disclosing information through Reddit?
Right. No, I understand. Listen, I'm really frustrated with Q too. Every time somebody tells me Q confirmed, or, you know, because people keep telling me, oh, now look at this. And I always say, well, and I don't see it, you know? So anyway,
and thanks. I mean, look at these QTubers. Like, they don't even get censored, man. Like, they're getting like hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's pretty apparent if you choose to have some discernment. Well, we can believe anything. There's plenty of avenues on the internet to back up your opinion. Even if it's wrong, there's something out there to back it up. Some jackass has a website made, you know?
Right.
And you can fall right into whatever, you know? So.
Right. I hear you. Hey, thanks
I appreciate getting through, man.
Thanks for the call, man. It's great. And I'll try to keep bringing the real show. All right?
All right, brother, man.
All right.
All
see ya. I'm one of the only people that talks about Israel and talks shit about Trump, but you know, I'm a little soft. Somebody called it soft censorship because I've been censored so many times, and I have to move channels. I think I have to. This one's fucked up. I opened the phone again. There's somebody who's trying to call me. James Munder is there in the chat. He's a Q tuber. Everybody would love to hear from James Munder if he wanted to call in. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan. How are you?
Great.
I'm just going to agree with that last caller because he was a breath of fresh air in what is turning into a conspiracy kind of feverish nightmare. the QAnon BS and all the Trumpism that's going on, you need to keep a level head. It's all BS, you know? And look, I was listening to, have you heard of SGT TV?
SGT Report, yeah, a lot of people. He's huge, and I've been critical. He's really terrible lately. I mean, just a shill for Donald Trump. I mean, if he's not getting paid,
it's incredible, and it seems to me like the entire kind of right-wing, crazy Christian sect has just lined up behind Trump. And they are stretching things, man, and it's disturbing. And one of the things they seem to forget all throughout this, and I mean, they're huge on pedogate, right? This is the major thing that's going to be people lined up against the wall. Everyone's going to be killed. The Clintons, blah, blah, blah. But they seem to forget whose name was, who was a friend of Epstein.
Right.
And it was Donald Trump. He's been on that plane down to whatever that island is called many, many times. And there is this kind of collective amnesia about that. And to me, it's really disturbing because, I don't know, I'm somewhere in the beginning, in the middle here, because I see both sides to a certain degree. But the fact of the matter is, they're all puppets. Trump is there for a reason. It's going to be exactly the same thing as Clinton and Obama and everyone else. People need to realize this. It's not going to change. The guy who's in the White House wasn't elected. He is a puppet. He's an actor.
Right.
Don't you think?
Oh, well, yeah. And one of the things I've been trying to do a little bit is point out his actual policy stances. If you just point out where he stands on war, where he stands on the military, where he stands on, our rights, where he stands in terms of the spending, this outrageous spending. I mean, he's just the same. It's more of the same. Not any different than the neocons as far as the war stuff goes. I mean, I thought it was really ironic. He mentioned in a tweet, the $7 trillion we wasted in Afghanistan and Iraq. And I'm thinking to myself, he's the one that has the military presence in Syria indefinitely trying. I mean, what is he talking about? It's the weirdest thing. We're still wasting money over there.
Yeah, and you know it. It's you can't have a friend. You can't have a friend or someone you love or you believe in, a husband, a wife, a child, who exhibits hypocrisy, right? Of all the human kind of emotions, or whatever you would call hypocrisy is the worst, right? You can't have that. And for a man who tweeted, 25 times about Obama playing golf, it's to me that is just written large. And it's not because it's Trump. It's not because it's Obama. When Obama came along, he was my guy. For me, what is it, 9 years ago, I went, okay, this is the last time. This man is the last, politician I'm going to believe in. Let's see what he does. And I believed him. I really did,
Obama.
I went, yeah. I thought, okay, this guy, he's such a good actor.
Right.
I'll give him a chance. And I said to myself at the time, if this proves to be, more bullshit, that's it.
Right.
And we know it. We know what happens, right? He's just an actor. And so I've got an open mind about this. I'm not left or right or kind of, in any way, shape or form. But for everyone to think that this man is, lining people up against the wall and doing all the right things, I mean, to me, it's just patently kind of bizarre. But the more interesting question is, how long can they keep this going, right? So
it's amazing.
At the end of, don't you think? It's like, how much longer until my next door neighbor, Maureen, goes, well, actually, I think they might be pulling our tits,
Right.
And so we all rise up. And by that stage, as Trump just did, selling military equipment to the police, will it be too late?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. It's frustrating that there's no way to get through. It seems like there's no way to get through to these people, you know, who've bought into this. And so I just try to kind of be sensitive and then go through it one step at a time. I mean, you know, people have to break down this left-right paradigm, but people like being on teams, you know, and people like this divisiveness in some way or another. They're drawn to it. So anyway.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, man, you're doing the best job you can. But to me, it's kind of, I don't know, it's this crossing of the Rubicon that anybody even believes these guys anymore. You know, what does it freaking take? Does it take someone coming into your house and taking all the stuff, you know, all your possessions off you? What does it take for you to realize that really this is just a Ponzi scheme anyway? You know, it's like it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Keep doing it. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thanks for the call. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
All right. That's an American, everybody. Calling from an American area code, at least. Everybody was saying Australia. Yeah, I know. That's what everybody was saying. But he's American because he lives in America and he voted for Obama. That's what I'm saying. That's as American as apple pie. I voted for him too. Disclosure. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Nathan, it's Ron.
Hey, Ron. What's up?
What did you want to talk about?
You're the one calling in. You're supposed to have all the ideas.
Okay, well, we could talk about a lot of issues. We could talk about
this is
Zionism
Ron Shekelson,
yeah.
Ron Shekelson. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't invite you specifically to call in, so it wasn't just to talk about a particular topic. You are often in the chat talking about the flat earth. What do you think of because of that, what do you think of what's been going on with SpaceX? Everybody's interested in SpaceX. If you go on YouTube right now, there's somebody probably streaming a video that says live, and it's the car in outer space, and like 3,000 people are watching it right now. Okay. So what do you think?
It was about 7,000 people watching, and it was like 10 to 1 that thought it was real. I'm like, oh my God, this is the fakest shit I've ever saw. It's so obviously fake. Even Elon Musk said, you know it's real because it looks so fake.
Right.
I mean, come on. They like to put things in our face to mock us. Like the whole proportions of the earth, everything about it is satanic. Like the curvature rate equals 6,666 at 100 miles. The alleged tilt is 66.6 degrees. The earth allegedly orbits the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. It's like they're throwing it in our face to mock us.
Right.
When you put it all together, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? It couldn't be a coincidence.
Well, a lot of people say that. I can't say for sure, but I sympathize.
There's also a salt flat in somewhere in South America. It's 4,000 square miles, and it's completely flat and level.
Right.
How would this be possible if the Earth had this a globular curvature? It would be impossible.
Well, I will say something is I don't know if the Earth is flat or not. Well, in fact, there's some ways it can't be exactly, but certainly the way we experience it is that there is no curvature, which is what I said in my SpaceX video too, is that it's just you're never going to see it. You would see it from a high altitude balloon. You would at least see some. People say, oh, but the Earth is so big, you would never see it because but that's not true. You would see something, you know. There would be some curvature. So yeah, and water doesn't and stuff. So that's cool.
It's always level. Like the natural state of things is to be level. If the natural state of things was to be a globe, as the salt was drying in these salt flats, it would have conformed to the curvature of the Earth. Right? If it was just a bunch of mud and there was such a thing as gravity, it would have pulled it into a globe shape. But we don't observe that. Same thing you can see across like a large body of water, like Lake Michigan. You can see you could see the entire Chicago skyline. All the buildings are completely vertical and parallel.
Right.
They're plumb.
Yep.
Plumb means it's vertical in each direction, left, right, north, south, east, west. You can't have that on a globe because the base of it, if you look at the water in those photos of Chicago, you'll see the water is level. You can line up a sheet of paper with the photo. It will be completely level and straight, and then the buildings will be 90 degrees to that water surface. So if you have any distance apart, let's say the building on the extreme edge of the photo, the left side and the right side, they are both 90 degrees to the water surface. If we were on a globe, they would look more like a porcupine. They would angle away from each other. It wouldn't be 90 degrees. It's like everything that we observe tells us that it's a flat plane, and everything that we're told tells us the opposite. And that's what Satanists do. They invert things. They tell you the opposite. The earth is stationary. They tell you the earth is moving. The earth is the center. They tell you the sun is the center.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, I know.
And everything's the opposite. And it's all the same sick fucks. It's the same people telling us that are raping the children. That's why it's relevant. Someone tells me, well, why does it matter to me? It's like, wait a minute. It's the lie. It proves that they're able to get away with a lie this big. How are they able to get away with a lie this big? Because they control all the governments of the world. Somebody would leak it out. In other words, if China was independent, China would say, fuck you, the earth is flat. And there's a bridge in China. It's like 100 miles long, and it's completely level. Like it follows the levelness of the water. They didn't account for any curvature.
Right.
There's so many things, things. There's no proof of the globe.
Right.
And I get tired of it. I was like, how could people argue this when you're taking blind faith? The same people telling you that it's a globe are the same people raping kids.
Right, right. Well, I sympathize with that. Let me ask you a question before we move on from flat Earth. We can maybe touch on one other subject.
Ask me any question.
Would you buy a flat Earth T-shirt, and what should it be?
I have flat Earth T-shirts, by the way. Yeah, it should be like an AE map, the flat Earth map.
The flat Earth
like
map.
Yes, the flat Earth map is the same thing as the UN map, except the UN map has a cage over it, and there's 33 segments in that cage.
Right. Okay, we have
just
a design
a little bit too coincidental.
We have a design like that actually in our portfolio, so maybe we'll make that. Flat Earthers are fanatical; they buy stuff, so I figured I might throw in a flat Earth T-shirt for everybody.
And we'll make it when we can't buy it. There's a lot of things. I mean, like the whole nonsense. It's starting to be revealed. I think there's some soft disclosure, like the Tesla car in space. That might be some form of soft disclosure where enough people see it and go, "Oh my God, that's so fake."
Right.
Same thing like the Las Vegas shooting. They just reached too far. They made it bigger and bigger and bigger. You investigated Sandy Hook. You're one of the first people to have Wolfgang on the show, and Wolfgang was great. He was dragged through the mud over revealing Sandy Hook.
Yeah, I wasn't one of the first to have him on or anything, but I did have a great interview with him. For everybody who didn't see it, I was the first to have him on after his court case, though. After his court case got after Posner dropped the charges against him, basically.
This is a fabricated character, this Lenny Posner character. He's got like 7-8 different aliases.
Right.
And he registered a handgun in Florida or something like that. And Wolfgang, he's a great investigator. He gets to the bottom of the BS.
Yeah, for sure. All right, one more topic.
All right, I'll
one
see you
more
later.
topic.
Yeah, any topic.
You have any
Go
others?
ahead.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about today?
Oh, I could talk about anything, but yeah, if you want to move on, go ahead. It was nice talking to you.
All right, cool. Thanks, Ron.
All right, have a good one. All right.
Okay, that was a cool call. He's a New Yorker or something? Maybe. Got to make my store a little bit bigger. Right now, there's only one product, so it takes investment. I might have an ICO, Doshi coin, for the clothing line. You can get your Russian bot t-shirt at truthclothing.io, and all the stickers and stuff. It ships internationally. We ship internationally. Actually, 2 of the packages that went out today were international packages. Do really good shipping. We're professionals. We might even make them for other channels at some point. 650 gay taxi. I'll take another call. Hopefully James Munder could defend Q, and everybody wants to hear from James Munder. He's in the chat. Oh, it's James Munder. Great. Hey, James, what's up, man?
What's going on, Nathan?
Nothing. Everybody was asking me about you. They were like, "Where's James Munder?" You're back.
I'm back.
That's great, man. Well, it's good to have you. Did you hear that guy call in talking smack about Q?
Yeah.
What do you think?
what do you people have their things. I don't know. I mean, it's information. There's a lot of good things that happen. A lot of people that talk shit really, they don't look at it. They just have an opinion and they put it out there. Whatever. What are you gonna do?
How do you think? I know you watch my show fairly often. Man, you have 72,000 subscribers. I thought last time I checked you had like 50. I had a video get like 72,000 views, and I think I got a handful of subscribers from it, maybe 100. There's something broken about my channel where I can't get subs.
Yeah, you're garden walled.
Yeah, I think I am.
They threw you up in the garden wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna try going to a different channel.
Yeah, you have the secondary channel that'll work. I don't think that one's garden walled.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm gonna maybe move. Although my SpaceX video's got a shitload of views, but they didn't let me get subs, so there's something wrong. Anyway, congratulations to you. I'm looking at your videos to see if you're talking about Q. You make a lot of videos, huh? How many videos do you make a day?
It depends on the day.
Like 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Just short ones?
What's that?
Short ones, mostly like 3 or 4 short videos, huh? Do you ever live stream?
Yeah, I just got my live streaming capabilities back.
Oh, you got them back? Oh, that's why I have to abandon channels all the time.
Yeah.
Because they take mine away from me. So yeah, I see you made something about the Russian plane. What do you think about the Russian plane crash? Anything?
Which one? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, honestly, we're getting shoved into a war here. There's, 7 different ways where they're just getting shoved in and things are happening. And I honestly think it's the, that rogue element that's colluding somehow. Something's going on. I don't know exactly how, but I mean, the technology they had and everything, it's super suspect.
Yeah.
It's hard to cover. I mean, things are going at such a fast pace, but in the big picture, the New World Order isn't really losing here. They're kind of putting out their. I mean, if you look at the propaganda worldwide, I was looking at some mainstream media in Europe. Man, I thought it was bad here. It's pretty bad. It's really bad over there.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I mean, it's just like New World Order programming,
Right.
And I mean, if you don't have a TV and you're not, you don't dish into that whole thing on streaming, it's everything's woven into whatever entertainment, music. I mean, it's just
right. Sort of like I was talking
shit.
about how that Aleppo movie won an Oscar and it's totally propaganda and stuff. It's all woven in, like you said. It's sort of like that guy was implying with the Jewish question, is that that Hollywood and everything is, run by the same people, and then they push forward messages through these movies and pop culture and music. Do you think? Let me ask.
Comics aren't even comics anymore. Comics are propagandists. I mean, it's like unbelievable. But like these guys call themselves comics. It's like, how dare you call yourself a comic? You just go up there and you spit this New World Order propaganda. Mm-hmm. You whore.
Yeah,
these whores that are on late night television. I mean, how can they call themselves comics? It's unbelievable. Comedy has left this world. It feels like.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
you don't have real critics of the New World Order out there, do you?
I honestly don't think once you get to a certain level, you're not allowed to be critical of the New World Order.
Mm-hmm.
They will take away your funding. They will make it so you don't get a job. They make everybody a whore to them.
Right.
And if you're not a whore to them, you won't survive. You won't be able to make money. Like in the entertainment industry, you're not going to make money having your own voice.
Right.
You're just a whore.
Right.
You have to be a whore for them, and it's so true though. It sucks.
How are things going for you on your channel? I see you got a bunch of subs. Have you been experiencing any targeting or anything? I remember when I talked to you before, you had some weird stuff going on. Do you think you have people messing with you?
Yeah, I mean, there was a really structured hit about 2 weeks ago.
What happened?
Took my Mac out. They wiped my phone clean from remotely.
Wow.
It was a very structured hit. I mean, I have a brand new, 27-inch iMac.
Oh, that's what
they remotely wiped my. They didn't get into my SD card because it's encrypted, and they really didn't do anything. To be honest with you, because everything was backed up, and they didn't do anything except slope. What I don't even know what it was.
Weird.
But it was a little bit. They took me off my game a little bit.
Yeah, but you're back now, right?
Yeah.
I see you got a bunch of videos up. Cool. All right, James. Did you have anything else for me today?
No, that's about it.
All right, man. Well, thanks for calling me.
All right, Nathan.
All right, see ya. That's James Munder. James Munder. He has a channel called James Munder. I fixed my lighting. In the afternoon like this, the sun comes out. I'm going to have to get this posted on. There's one more person who's been trying to call me, but I was going to make that my last call. I'll take it because I'll do an hour and a half. I'm willing to go an hour and a half. Difference between an hour 25 and an hour and a half isn't much anyway. And anyway, I think on YouTube it's only been 120. Thanks everybody for joining me. Subscribe to my other channel, Lift the Veil 2. It's actually the one that comes up first in search, I believe, if you type Lift the Veil. That's the reason one reason I'm thinking, yeah, like if you type in Lift the Veil in YouTube search, the first thing that comes up is Lift the Veil 2. So if you could subscribe to that channel, that'd be great, because I think I'm going to switch channels. There's something really weird about this one. So it's got more subs, and I'll leave it available for live streaming and stuff, but I'm going to start streaming on that other channel. So you're going to have to subscribe if you haven't already. I think, I can't say most, but a lot of the people subscribe to this channel or subscribe to that. I mean, a lot of the people that regularly watch me are already subscribed to that channel, because that's the channel I was on in the fall, I think, after they took out this channel. And then there's Lift the Veil Live also, which I think is the last channel I was on. Okay, this person isn't calling very fast. Do I have anything else to report on? People are saying I'm a little soft. Well, I have been reporting on the news a little bit lately. I'd give my own spin. Just wait, stuff happens. We try to talk about it. When something grabs us, we dig into it. Doshi says, thanks. Somebody said I should pet Doshi. Hey, Doshi. That's a pet from that person. Good. Not green screen. Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. It was a great show. I'll see you at the next one. Do I have any party messages for you? Just subscribe. Subscribe to that other channel. Oh, maybe I'll play a little of that. Maybe I'll play more of that Quentin Tarantino thing as we go out. That's what I think I'll do, is I'll play from the beginning of that Quentin Tarantino thing. Let's see. And then I can chat with some people in the super chat, in the chat.
When Gary Garver, our reporter out in Hollywood, interviewed you, here's what you said. I got to ask you about this. Okay. This I don't understand. Your movie I understand. This I don't. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, Quentin, how you doing, man?
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Nice to meet you. What have you done to make the world a better place?
I don't know. What do you think I've done?
Cool movies.
Oh, well, I'll stand with that.
Pulp Fiction's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, were you happy when Roman Polanski won the Oscar?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually, yeah.
What's so great about a rapist being the recipient of Hollywood's highest honor?
I don't consider him a rapist.
Right, that's the one. How can you defend See, I don't understand this. How come Hollywood embraces this madman, this director who raped a 13-year-old?
He didn't rape a 13-year-old. It was statutory rape.
Yeah,
all right.
Well,
that's not quite the same thing. All
come
right?
on.
Enough said. It's not statutory rape. You know, he had sex with a minor. All right, that's not rape. To me, when you use the word rape, all right, you're talking about violent, throwing them down. It's like one of the most violent crimes in the world. You can't throw, throwing the word rape around is like throwing the word racist around. All right, it just doesn't apply to everything that people use it for. All right, he was guilty of having sex with a minor. All right,
that she didn't want to have.
No, that was not the case at all. She wanted to have it.
Well,
and dated the guy, and
she was 13
and found out. Well, by the way, we're talking about America's morals. We're not talking about the morals in Europe and everything. All right.
Wait a second.
Morals in
You have
Europe, morals
sex
in China.
with a 13-year-old girl, and you're a grown man. You know that that's wrong because she has
giving her booze and
pills.
I'm not. Look. She was down with it.
Oh, you're crazy.
And she's talked about it. She's talked about it.
Oh,
now she's an adult.
So crazy.
I'm right. She's talked about it since. He didn't really do anything to me. Though it was a technicality of her being 13.
But would you ever seduce a 13-year-old with pills and booze?
No.
You wouldn't.
Again, you're killing him with the pills and booze thing.
Why?
All right?
But it's true.
All right. Anyway, it's a bad clip. You can listen to the whole thing. I want to thank you guys for joining me. That is what it is.